I've got this question on my mind right now. Can you do a solo vlog and call it a solo adventure whilst vlogging it? This is a new experience for me. Fucking hell. Well, that was just a little bit scary. And you know what? The Inti is ready to be collected, it's working, and I cannot wait to get it back. I'm at my childhood home where this vlog started about a month ago, and it feels really surreal to be here now and quite nice to kind of come full circle just before I go. Because a month ago I was in here saying I might go to Europe in a month, let's try and plan it, and now I'm here. And it feels really surreal and also really exciting and really real now that it's happening, so this is nice. I've got this question on my mind right now. Can you do a solo vlog and call it a solo adventure whilst vlogging it? I don't know. I really want to go back to basics with the vlogging, and I'm trying to make myself do that, do less takes, do less planning, and just kind of go with the flow. But it always creeps in. You find yourself thinking about the next one. What are you going to do for the next one? What do you want to film? What do you want to say? And I really want to try and keep it as spontaneous and genuine as possible and just try and capture those moments as they happen rather than plan them, you know? So that's my question for myself right now. Can you still have the adventure whilst thinking about the microphones, the shot, the aperture of the camera, the width that I'm shooting at, blah, 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 and also do it without thinking so much? I guess it takes practice, but I want to spend Europe just enjoying it and not worrying about the filming, and hopefully get the footage. I really don't want to like film something that looks incredible in the moment and then miss that shot, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a balance that you have to find, I guess. Anyway, I am here with the 650 shotgun. Everyone has been asking me to talk about this bike, and I will. I've got a 3-hour ride back to London tonight. I'm going to also, before I load it up with luggage, ride it around the Cotswolds a bit. And you know what? Well, that was the on some nice roads. I'm tired, but I'm going to find the time and do that tonight so I can really show you how the bike looks, sounds, and just rides on the road, and then I will talk about it at the same time. That's the plan anyway, if I can get these microphones to work. You might have noticed that recently the vlogs have kind of been hit and miss with sound. I'm working on the tech, I promise, but hopefully through all these mistakes I will find a good way of doing it in Europe without fucking it all up. The other thing I want to do in this vlog is test out this tent. I've got this pop-up tent. Apparently it takes 2 minutes to go up, 2 minutes to come down. I've never put it up before, so the plan is to get out in the garden in a second, chuck it up, see how hard it really is, I'll film it, and then take it down and see how hard that really is. Getting it away is a bit more difficult. I haven't quite figured it out. I think it's worth trying before I go away. I've also got a tarpaulin, which I've bought but don't have with me. It's getting delivered today to London, which I intend to throw over the bike and then drape over and pin it in, so I can put like dirty stuff underneath there, dusty stuff or wet stuff if it's raining, and not have it in the tent, because the tent that I have does not have like an exterior modular part for separate from the living quarters. So that's the plan right now, and I will try the tarp when I'm in Europe. But the tent is a really important piece of kit for me because I really want to try and camp as much as I can, save some money, really be outside, experience it properly. Obviously there will be times where I can't find a campsite, or maybe it's not safe to camp, or maybe it's just not, you know, maybe I'm not feeling it sometimes and I get a hostel or an Airbnb or whatever, you know. But the main thing I want to try and do is camp. That's my goal. But obviously 6 weeks is a long time just to be camping, so we'll see how that goes. It's literally this entry, it's just going to be those couple of things. I'm going to keep it really basic and try and keep it as short as possible. And I'm also feeling time really closing in. I've got a couple of days. I have to head back to London tonight to be there for tomorrow morning because I have an audition. Then I've got to, well, I'm not going to say what else I'm doing tomorrow yet because that's for tomorrow's vlog. But then Saturday I'm going for a ride out with the guys. All day, which is my choice. Sunday, Monday I'm working all day. Tuesday or Monday night I want to see my girlfriend and spend some quality time with her before I go away for 6 weeks. Although we are meeting up in Morzine for a bit, which is my first real stop. And then I have Tuesday to get ready and pack and then leave on Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning. Well, I need to leave my house at like 4:30 in the morning. So I don't really have much time to like get all the bits that I might need. I really haven't done enough prep yet, so I'm going to try and squeeze these vlogs into all the prep that I'm going to do these next few days, and then also get everything ready and go as well. Leave for Europe on Wednesday. That was really manic, I know, but I'm just, you know, cramming. I'm cramming. Enjoy the vlog, enjoy the entry. Stop saying vlog. Shh. I forgot to say something. I also felt like now would be a really good time to quickly fly through my kind of way into bikes. I grew up around bikes since I was a baby. My dad's always had them around. We've still got the old Z900, which he had since I was born. Then I had a pit bike one Christmas. I wanted to ride. My dad got me a little 110 pit bike. Quickly grew out of that. Then he got me straight onto a 250 old school, old police bike actually, converted enduro bike. Really fucking heavy. It must have been like 1980s, I think. Really old bike. Rode that for a few years. Really got me used to riding off-road. Then sold that to really get into like properly getting a track bike. So I bought a KTM SX 125. Meanwhile, started buying mini motos that were broken, started fixing those, playing with them and selling them on. Upgraded then to a 250, I think a Honda 250. Then I had to play with some trial bikes, so I was buying and selling these as I was going. Some trial bikes, didn't like them at all, had them for like a couple of weeks, sold that one. And then I had a 450 for a while. The bikes got stolen, unfortunately. I couldn't afford to buy any more, obviously, they're expensive. So then I went into kind of road bikes, had a 50cc, I was old enough to ride on the road. Went up to a 125, T-boned a car on that, wasn't my fault, but the whole bike snapped in half. I've actually got the Speedo, which I found today, which reminded me to talk about this. And then rode around on that for a few years, but then I couldn't afford to do my full license. Like, it's £1,000 plus to do your full license. So I waited a few years before doing that. Then I had the Triumph Street Twin for a few years, sold that. And then I got the Royal Enfield. So I'm not that kind of seasoned in bikes yet, on road bikes. I've had quite a few dirt bikes and off-road bikes over the years. KTMs, Kawasaki's, Hondas. So my fair share of that, but not road bikes. So yeah, as I said, I'm not a reviewer and I'm not seasoned in road bikes. So whatever I say is just my feelings when I'm talking about these bikes. I'm going to talk about the Shotgun later. It's just how I feel. I've not looked at the spec. I don't know everything about the bike. I've not researched it. So what I'm saying is literally just how I feel about the bike. And that is it. I've got my little sister filming this. So 2 seconds. Wow, you look at you, camera person. So good. 2 seconds, easy. Here we go. Right. This is a new experience for me. Okay, so the tent comes out. I have not looked at the instructions, but okay, I did have a go with this in the store, so I kind of roughly know what I'm doing. So I guess that comes in through there. And then I guess if I just pull that up through there, pop that out, and then a few pegs in the corners. It wasn't quite 2 seconds for the first time, but if you show them the tent, we have one tent. Super. Might want to peg it in. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Look at that. You are a superstar. What a tour of the tent. This is the tent up, and it does take about 2 seconds when you know what you're doing. Come around here, Jay. Let's go inside and show them inside, shall we? Okay, there's a few things that I need to work out with this tent. I can't seem to open the door. So apart from not being able to open the door, which is, I'm not sure yet, if you take a look inside, it's pretty big. It's dark as well. How dark is that? It's
quite dark over here right now.
Sweet. And it is sunny outside right now. And just a real quick, yep, perfect, thank you. This tent cost £129.99. Yeah, it cost a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. You could have got a cheaper one for like, I could have got a cheaper one for like £50, but it wouldn't be blackout and it wouldn't be as simple to put up. And I think traveling around for 6 weeks doing this sort of stuff, this is going to be great. Getting it away is a bit more difficult. I haven't quite figured it out, but the beginning is this. So you literally take the corners, pull them in, and then I think you kind of just fold these edges up like this. But then the rest I'm trying to figure out. So I'm not going to film me putting it away for now, but once I've mastered it, I'll get it on camera and put the link for the tent in the description. To be honest, I don't have too long on this bike. I am returning it tomorrow morning. So the amount of people that have asked me to talk about it, I thought I may as well do a really quick video on it. And then I'll jump back on and head back to London. As I've said before in the last video, I don't review bikes. I'm not a bike reviewer. And you know what? Well, that was the... It doesn't lean down too far. Let's just say that. Anyway, I don't review bikes, and this is just my first kind of feelings of the bike, and I'm not basing these feelings on any specifications. I've not read anything about the bike, and you know what, scraping the peg along the floor just put me off, and I kind of lost what I'm saying now. Yeah, at least nothing's damaged. But that was funny. I've been stood here for about a minute waiting for the pump to be turned on, and then the guy came over the tannoy saying I should press the button, which is indeed circled in a yellow piece of tape. That was just a little bit scary. I've just stopped on my way home to London to put a jumper on. It's quite cold tonight compared to yesterday, and I've been thinking about that car pulling out, and it's very easy for a car not to see a bike. It's a risk we all know about, you know, and I think that's even more reason to remember that you have to stay super present on the bike. As soon as your mind wanders or drifts away from being on the bike and the road and the surroundings around you, then you should probably stop and take a rest, or check in with yourself and make sure that you are looking at where you're going. I've crashed before. I had a car pull out on me in the past when I was 18, and I was young and naive then, but now I'm 30 and a lot more experienced on the road, and my mind did drift tonight, and it's too late when you see the car in front of you to stop. Luckily she did, and I can get around, but you know, unless you've made eye contact, I think it's always, and normally I do, normally I slow down, but tonight obviously I just wasn't paying enough attention and caught it at the very last second when she moved out. So just a reminder, you know, stay present, stay with the road, stay with the bike when you're riding around, because it's not necessarily their fault. They might not see you. It might be a blind spot, might have been the sun, might have just been super tight. It could have been anything, you know, so just be aware, be super aware. And everything is just fucking good. I leave for Europe now in a couple of days. I need to book the ferry this afternoon, get my insurance sorted, all of that stuff. Rather than filter, I want to chat to you guys and actually be able to think today. But yeah, I tried to talk about this bike yesterday whilst I had it on the way home. Obviously a couple of things happened on the way home and I just didn't really feel like reviewing it. I just wanted to get back to London, so it was one of those things again which I spoke about in the last vlog of being in the right headspace, and it depends on, I think, really how we experience things in life. It comes down to our expectations and how we feel in that moment leading up to the experience. And yesterday was not a day to talk about this bike. I just couldn't really think of too much to say. But I've had this bike now for 3 days. I've probably been riding it now for about 7 hours in total. And I love it. It's a really, really beautiful bike. It's got a lot of torque, lots of low end grunt. It's amazing on the motorway. It's just a beautiful thing to ride, and I mean, it does what it says in the tin, you know. It's a great cruiser. It's great for spending time on. It's very comfortable. As you saw in the video, where that car pulled out in front of me yesterday, the front brakes also work. Well, both brakes work pretty well. They're really, really responsive, as you can see, compared to the Enfield Interceptor, which I would say they're lacking on that. At least mine aren't that great at all. Mine aren't great at all, and I think I would have been either bailing on the bike or going into the side of that car yesterday if it hadn't have stopped on the Interceptor, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, this bike, it's a beautiful bike. It looks incredible. It also sounds really nice. It rides so smooth. If I could choose one word for this bike, it would be smooth. The Kawasaki was unfortunately boring. This one is smooth. And also, I will say, this bike is full of character. And for the price you get this for, brand new, you know, it's really competitive with other cruisers and probably nicer to ride. It's a super nice bike. Also, the way the whole front end is laid out, the headlight, the wiring as well, the dials, it's all really, really, really smart and tucked away. The position, I'm a tall guy, as you know. The position is super comfortable. It doesn't feel that far off the Interceptor, to be honest. Obviously I am lower down, but the pegs are kind of mid pegs, so they're not forwards like that, like you would be on a general cruiser. They're a bit more back, as you can see there, look. So overall, my really quick lowdown on this bike and my feedback on it would be that I think if I didn't have the Royal Interceptor, the Enfield Interceptor, I would definitely want to ride this to Europe, because I think it would be an incredible bike to do long distances on. Only downside I would say is, as it's a cruiser, why is this car driving past me like that? As it is a cruiser, could have gone in the bus lane there. As it's a cruiser, the pegs are really low to the ground, and as you witnessed in my earlier video, I did indeed scrape the pegs around the corner, and I barely put it down, you know, it was barely leant over. I wasn't riding around like a madman or at any real speed. I was just generally cruising around the corner and scraped the pegs down, which really kind of puts me off leaning it into any more corners, because it wasn't low at all. I'll put it here so you can see it. But otherwise, yeah, I really can't recommend this bike enough. It's a beautiful bike, and Royal Enfield does not disappoint once again. I am finding it very hard to, honestly finding it really hard to compare this bike against other bikes right now. Sorry, not this bike. Finding it really hard to compare other bikes to the Interceptor because I am absolutely in love with the Interceptor. But anyway, that's the wrap up on the Enfield Shotgun. Now let's get that Interceptor back.